everybody. If anybody else has snuck in last minute, hello and welcome. If you have a blanket or something nearby, or a pair of socks or a top, and you just want to keep that nearby so you don't have to faff around too much later, it might be nice for Shavasana. Or a pillow if you like a pillow under your head. If you have blocks, feel free to have them nearby. If you don't have blocks, that's fine. We'll make do without them. We are going to start lying down. So let's come on to our backs. And we'll start by extending the legs out and taking the arms up overhead and taking a big long stretch. Point your toes, reach with your fingers, and then flex your feet. Keep reaching with your fingers. Take your toes back towards you. So really flexing so that you feel some sensation in your calves. And then one more time, point the toes. So you get a stretch across the top of the feet. Keep reaching with the fingers. And then flex the feet one more time. Drawing the toes back towards your face. And then relax your arms. So if you can keep your arms overhead comfortably and bend your elbows and relax your arms a little bit there, do that. But if you find that it's more comfortable for you to bring your arms out wider, bring your arms lower, then that's fine. Just do that. And let's bend the knees. And I'll give you a few options here. You can bend your knees with your feet a little bit wider than your hips, letting your knees knock in towards each other. Or you can separate your knees and let them hang out over your ankles. Or you can bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees knock out wide for Supta Baddha Konasana. And I really want you to go to the most comfortable place that you can be right now, which isn't necessarily the most comfortable place that you were in if you've ever had this decision to make before. So let yourself explore how you feel now rather than how you think you feel. And then whenever you find your way into that comfortable space in your physical body, close your eyes or gaze softly up at the ceiling and begin to breathe through your nose. So that's the only thing we're really changing at this stage. We're just breathing through the nose. And maybe you were already breathing through the nose, that's okay. But maybe now that I've said to breathe through the nose, maybe you start to pay a little bit more attention. And let's let go of the idea here that we need to accomplish anything, that we need to do anything, and that we need to do anything right or good or well. This is a practice, and everything that we do from this moment on is going to be part of this practice. When we set the expectation of ourselves to do, you set the implication that you can succeed or you can fail. You can do well or you can do poorly. So let's not even let that be a consideration, because everything that we do from this moment on will be a practice. We will practice breathing. We will practice postures. We will practice presence. We will practice relaxation. Let everything be a practice. There is no expectation. There is no judgment. There is nothing to judge. It's just us, and we're practicing. So let's practice breathing more deeply. Still through the nose if that's available to you right now. Starting to tune into how your physical body feels as you're breathing and as you're breathing a little bit more deeply. Maybe noticing the belly, the chest rising and falling as you breathe. Take a moment to notice any and every part of your body that you feel right now moving as you breathe. And as you're breathing this deeper breath, draw your awareness into the base of your throat, into that space where you would cough from, where you would sigh from. And imagine that your breath is breathing through the base of your throat. That's where the breath is traveling from. And listen to it. See if it sounds any different. See if it feels any different, this breath. And as we're moving through our physical practice tonight, if you get to a place where you're starting to judge, you're starting to worry about success or failure, this is where I want you to go right back into this breath. This breath from the base of your throat. This breath that sounds a little different, that feels a little different. Now bring your knees, if you've brought your knees wide, bring them back up. And if your feet are anywhere else, let's bring the feet all the way to the outer edges of your mat with your knees still bent. Take just a little lift of your hips there. And then lay your hips back down. Start with your lower back, and then your sacrum, and then your bum. So you're just creating a little bit more length along your lower back. And then keep your feet as wide as your mat and let your knees drop over to the right. So when your knees drop to the right, the legs aren't going to be touching each other because you've started with your feet wide. Keep a little bit of a flex in your feet there. And notice any sensation that you're experiencing there. Notice if you're fighting the sensation. And then maybe observe why you're fighting the sensation. Is it because something is hurting? Is something uncomfortable that you need to back out of? Or is it because that's just your natural reaction when your body starts to stretch or experience sensation? Do you resist it? So just notice. And then practice either backing out because there's something not right, or sinking in. Letting go a little bit. And then bring your knees all the way back up to center. So your feet are staying wide. And then let your knees drop all the way over to the left. Again, little flexion in the feet. Then we drop in. We practice this sensation of dropping in, of not holding on and not gripping and not resisting, but just dropping in. And then bring your knees all the way back up to center. And let's bring the right knee up into your chest. If you want to open your eyes here, you want to keep them closed. Either one is fine. We'll bring the right knee up into the chest. Bring your hands and interlace them around your right shin. And give that right knee and thigh just a gentle hug in towards the body here. Seeing how that feels. The more that you draw in, the more sensation you'll get in the hip flexor, so that space where your hip meets your thigh. So if you need to back off, you back off. If you need to draw in a little bit more to feel that sensation, then draw in a little bit more. And then put that right foot down on the mat and take your left knee into your chest, interlacing your hands around your left knee. And again, gently hugging in, and maybe even firmly hugging in if that's desirable, or backing off if that's desirable. We're going for sensation over aggression or any specific level of sensation. Stay with the breath. Now bring your right knee in as well, so you've got both knees into your chest. You can bring your hands around your knees and give them a little hug in, and then rock around a little bit there, side to side. Just seeing how it feels. And then come back to center, and we're gonna come up to sit. So however you wanna do that, you're gonna find your way up to sit, swing your legs around back behind you, and come into a tabletop. And then in your tabletop, we're gonna come down. So we're gonna come down to the forearms and interlace your hands together. So your elbows are under your shoulders here. Sometimes the elbows will have this tendency to splay out. So we're gonna keep the elbows under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And let's begin here by dipping the belly down, lifting the bum. So the bum will start to feel a little sassy. And then push down through your elbows, roll your shoulders back, and move your chest forward. So we can keep the back of the neck relatively long here. We're not trying to strain to look up here. And just stay here in this shape for a moment. So as you've got that sassy bottom action happening here, and the bum lifting up towards the sky and the chest lifting up, engage your belly. So draw your navel back up into your body rather than relaxing the belly down. And then let's reverse this by rounding. So now push down through the elbows, draw up through the navel, hug the chin up towards the chest, and breathe here. And then come back to center, so more of a straighter spine rather than a curve in your spine. Take your hips over to the left a little bit and look out over your left shoulder. So you'll create some length along the right side of the body. And then take your hips over to the right and look out over your right shoulder. And then come back to center. Let's bring the big toes to touch here. Your knees are about hips distance, so if that's okay, leave them like that. If you want them a little bit wider, do that. Sit your bum back towards your heels. See if you can stay on your forearms there. So your hands still interlaced, elbows still down if that's accessible. Sit the bum back towards the heels, nestle back, and then rest your forehead down. And then press your palms together and lift your hands up. So your elbows are still down, forehead down, but your palms are pressing together and the hands start to lift up towards the back of the head. And then if you have the space, nestle your elbows a little bit further away from you there. And then bring the forehead back down, bringing the hands back towards the back of the head. Big breaths there, noticing the sensation, whatever and wherever you're feeling it. And then let's release the hands, extend the arms all the way back out, and then spread the fingers out wide. Lift your elbows up, rest your forehead back down. So you're in child's pose, but it's a little bit more active in your child's pose. Spread your fingers wide. And then let's inhale, come forward, bringing your shoulders forward over your wrists, keeping your arms nice and straight, and bring your shoulders all the way forward, and your hips are coming forward, not down, okay? So no back bend, no dipping in the hips. bringing the hips forward. And then bringing the big toes to touch and sitting all the way back towards the heels in your child's pose. So let's do that again, just like that. Inhale as you come forward, bringing the shoulders forward. You can separate your feet back there as your hips come forward. And then exhale as you bring your big toes to touch and sit all the way back towards your heels again, child's pose. Let's go again. Inhale, come forward, shoulders forward, separating the feet. And then exhale, sitting all the way back into your child's pose. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, come forward. And then exhale, big toes touch, sit all the way back. Settle back and take a deep breath in. And then exhale it out, let it go. Now let's walk the hands all the way back towards the knees here. And then tuck your toes under, lift your knees up so you come into a squat-like shape. Your heels are up, your hands are still forward. We're going to keep a little rounding through the back body, chin coming down towards your knees, fingertips walking forward. And at the same time that your fingertips are walking forward, your heels are sinking down. So you get maybe a stretch in your calves there. And let's take one more big breath there. And then start to walk your hands all the way back towards your feet. And we'll start to lift the bum up and drop the heels down. And as your heels go down, walk your feet a little bit wider than your hips there. So your feet can go almost as wide as your mat there. And if you feel especially tight today, go even wider, go as wide as your mat. Keep a little bend in your knees, relax the head down. So we're gonna create length and we're gonna bring our awareness into the focusing on the length in the upper body rather than the legs. So right now the legs are nice and soft and you're probably still getting quite a stretch in your hamstrings and the backs of your legs. So if you need to bend your knees more, then do that. But the length that we're gonna focus on here is the length from your tailbone to the crown of your head. So letting the crown of the head drop down towards the earth, letting the shoulders be heavy, the head be heavy, the arms be heavy, and you might be up higher, you might have hands on opposite elbows, and that's fine. Just make sure that the bend is coming from the hip points rather than the waist, right? So we're not gonna bend from the waist, we're gonna bend it from the hip points. Bum up high, head down low. Relaxing through the head. And then inhale here. Let's rise up halfway. So start to slide your hands up your legs as you straighten your legs. Gently press back on your legs as you roll your shoulders back and pull your chest forward. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. So your gaze goes to about the front of your mat. And then exhale, fold again, soften the knees, drop down. Let's do that again just like that. Inhale, sliding the hands up the legs, straight legs, flat back, roll the shoulders back, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold, softening the knees. Now as you soften your knees, shift your weight forward into the fronts of your feet so you're not sitting back into your heels. We're gonna do that one more time. Inhale, rise up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back, straight legs. And then exhale, soften and fold, coming all the way down. And with that softness in your knees, keep it there. Let your back body round as you roll all the way up to stand and take your arms all the way up to the sky. Reach up and then relax your arms down by your sides. Coming into your Tadasana. Let's bring the feet a little closer together there. So now the feet are about hips distance apart. And let's take the hands and interlace your hands behind your head. And bring your elbows out nice and wide. Rest your head back into your hands and feel your chest lifting up towards the sky as your elbows go out wide. And then as your chest lifts up, draw your navel back in towards your body. So rather than the navel moving forward and the tailbone moving back, we're gonna really hug in through the low belly and send the tailbone straight down. Take another breath there. And then exhale, release your arms by your sides. Give your shoulders a big roll back and then shoulders a big roll forward. Okay,
And then let's take a big step forward so that we're standing. We'll stand with the feet nice and wide on the mat, turning the feet parallel. And feet are as wide as is comfortable here. Legs are active, so rooting down through the feet, engaging the thighs. As we bend, if you want to bend your knees, you can bend your knees. Otherwise, you can keep the legs a little bit straighter. That's fine. So let's take the arms by your sides. I'm going to start with a deep breath in. Reach your arms to the sky. And then as you exhale, fold forward, and we're going to do it with a swan dive. So you're going to reach your arms out wide, lead with the chest, take the shoulders back, and come all the way down into your fold. Now, if your hands aren't coming down, that's fine. You can dangle there if you don't have blocks, or you can grab onto opposite elbows. Feel free to soften your knees. You do not need to lock out your legs there. Relax the head down and breathe. Get really heavy in the upper body once again and practice this lengthening through the upper body, so from the tailbone to the crown of the head, rather than worrying so much about the legs. Legs can be nice and soft, and you can still get a pretty amazing stretch here just by creating that length along the upper body. Take another breath. Okay, exhale it out. And then we're going to reverse our swan dive. So reach your arms out wide, lift up with the backs of the shoulders, lift up with the back body, and come all the way up and take your arms up to the sky. Now turn your right toes to face all the way out to the right so that the pinky edge of your right foot is parallel to your mat. Turn your left heel back to the left about an inch, and then bend into your right knee and open out your arms wide for your warrior two. So let's find a nice deep bend in that right knee, and just check out your foot placement there and see if you can line up your right heel with the arch on your left foot, so we know we're nice and stable there and we're not compromising any parts of the body here. Press strongly and firmly into the left foot, into the bottom of the left foot, and bend a little bit more deeply into the right knee. And then inhale, take your arms up to the sky as you straighten your right leg. And then as you exhale, bend back into your warrior two. Turn your palms to face down and send energy through your fingertips by really reaching your arms away from each other. Inhale, turn your palms up, straighten the right leg, reach up. And then exhale, turn the palms down, warrior two. Really widen your wingspan. And again, inhale, straighten the right leg, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, open out into your warrior two. Now inhale, straighten your right leg, reach your arms to the sky. Turn your feet back to parallel. And then as you exhale, swan dive again, lead with the chest, arms out wide as you come down. Inhale here. As you rise up halfway, so we're going to find a flat back and straight leg. So maybe the hands slide up the legs, maybe your hands are down, and then exhale, fold again. Drop the crown of the head down, and again, noticing that length from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Soften the knees as much as you need. And then inhale, reach your arms out wide, reverse your swan dive, and come all the way back up to stand, reaching your arms to the sky. And then turn your left toes all the way out to the left. Turn your right heel back to the right. Bend your left knee and open for your warrior two. So you're really strong through your feet. Active through that outer left hip, so the left knee is facing straight out over the left toes. Inhale, straighten the left leg, reach the arms up. And then exhale, turn the palms down, bend the left knee, warrior two. And again, turn the palms up. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, open out, warrior two. And again, inhale, straighten and reach up. And exhale, bend and warrior two. Really widen the wingspan. Inhale, straighten the left leg, reach the arms to the sky. Turn the feet parallel once again. And then exhale, fold, coming all the way back down into our wide leg forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway, length, and finding a flat back there. And then exhale, fold. And then reaching your arms out wide as you inhale, lift the back body up to the sky, coming all the way back up, reaching your arms to the sky. And then as you exhale, release your arms by your sides. Let's come back now. So let's stand back at the front of the mat now, or up at the front of the mat, and bring your feet to about hips distance apart. We'll take the arms down by your sides. turning your palms to face forward, rolling your shoulders back in space. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms out wide and reach up to the sky, lifting the chest. And then again, let's interlace the hands behind the head, elbows out wide, resting the head back, lifting the heart, keeping the belly nice and strong. So if you close your eyes here for just a moment and imagine you're placing a hand on your low belly and a hand on your low back, and you're drawing the two together. You're drawing your low belly and your low back in together as your chest lifts up. Take one more breath. And then release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Urdhva Hastasana, lift the chest high, strong through the belly. And then as you exhale, let's swan dive. Reach the arms out wide as you come down. Soften your knees as and when you need to so that you can come into your fold. And then inhale, rise up halfway, lengthening into a flat back, straight legs. And then as you exhale, bring your hands all the way down and step your right foot to the back of the mat. Now your right foot is going to go over to the right edge of your mat and that right heel down. Scoot your left foot over to the left a little bit, bend into the left knee, press down through the legs and rise up for your warrior one. Okay, so for your warrior one, your hips are facing forward. Your right leg is nice and straight and strong. Your left knee is bent. Taking the arms up to the sky. We're going to take a hold of opposite elbows this time overhead. And let your head ever so gently rest back into your arms if that's available. Sink a little bit more deeply into the left knee. Stay really strong through the belly. Lift the chest. Breathe. One more breath there. And then release your arms down by your sides. And then interlace your hands back behind you, bringing your right thumb on top of your left, rolling your shoulders back in space. Now here, your chest is going to want to lift up, which is okay. But when you lift the chest up, make sure you're drawing your belly back, staying really strong along the low belly, rather than arching into the back body. Take one big breath. And then as you exhale, come down to the inside of the left leg, relax your hands down, bring them all the way down to the mat, and then pivot to the ball of the back foot, your right foot, you come back to the ball of the foot, and then take the right knee down. Let your hips drop forward a little bit here, and then bring your hands up towards your left thigh, coming up for Anjaneyasana variation. So we're going to start by bringing the hips forward just a little bit, just so that we start to wake up some sensation into that right hip flexor, the right quad. Not going any further than feels really appropriate here. Maybe taking it dynamically if it feels quite tight. You might feel tight. If you've been sitting a lot, you might feel tight. If you've been running a lot or walking a lot, lots of reasons why you could feel tight there, so honor it. Okay, and then bring your hands all the way down, and we're going to step back into a tabletop. So that left knee is going to come back, and we're going to come into a tabletop. Then bring your big toes to touch, sit your bum back to your heels, and walk your hands as far forward as you can while keeping your bum back on your heels. Rest your forehead down. Inhale here, come forward, bringing your shoulders forward over your wrists, keeping your arms nice and straight. And then as you come forward, pull the shoulders back, chest forward. Keep the belly nice and strong. Bend your elbows, lower all the way down in a straight line to come to the belly. And then point your toes. Press down into the tops of the feet. Let's take the hands wider than the mat here. Roll the shoulders up away from your mat, and then start to press down to lift your chest as you inhale into this wide-armed cobra variation. And then exhale, come all the way back down. Let's do that again. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, rise up. And then exhale, lower. And we'll go one more time. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, lower all the way down. Now slide your hands back onto your mat. Tuck your toes, keep your knees down, We're gonna press up to go back into our child's pose, but this time your toes are tucked under. So sit the bum back towards the heels. You're gonna get a toe stretch there. Press into the hands to sit back. Rest your forehead just for one big breath. And exhale it out. And then walk your hands all the way back towards your knees. Lift your knees up into your chest. Keep your hands forward. Let your heels drop down, but they're not going to touch. Keep your hands walking forward, chin down towards the chest for your squatty shape there. Another breath. Okay. Now walk your hands forward as you start to lift your bum, and we'll come to downward facing dog. So hands are going to come about shoulder distance apart, feet about hips distance apart. Spread the fingers wide, bend the knees, and press the front of your mat forward to take the bum back towards the back of your mat. And then take a slow little pedal out there through the legs. Relaxing the head, but keeping the back of the neck nice and long by bringing the ears in line with the upper arms. And then slowly begin to walk your feet forward to your hands. Coming back to the front of your mat into a forward fold. So feet hips distance apart, soft knees. Relaxing the crown of the head down. Inhale, rise up halfway now, lengthening into your Ardha Uttanasana, flat back and straight legs. And then exhale, folding down. And then reverse your swan dive. Reach your arms out wide, lift up with the back body, rise all the way up, take your arms to the sky. Interlace your hands behind your head, elbows out wide, head rests back. Chest lifts, belly strong, thighs turned on. Take one more breath. And then release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana, lift your heart. And then as you exhale, swan dive, reach your arms out wide as you come all the way down. Inhale as you rise up halfway, lengthening into a flat back. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down, step your left foot to the back of the mat. Left foot's gonna go out to the left heel down. Right foot's gonna scooch to the right knee nice and bent. Press down through the legs and rise up into your Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1, where again, we're gonna grab onto opposite elbows. So nice deep bend in the right knee, strong through the belly so we aren't arching through the back there. Strong through the back leg, head resting gently back into the arms. And take one more breath. And then release your arms down by your sides. Take a roll of the shoulders. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. And as you exhale, hands come all the way down to frame the front foot. Now pivot back to the ball of that left foot and bring the left knee down. Bring your hands to the right thigh. And then just that little dynamic moving forward and backward here if you're a little bit tight, or maybe you're just starting to come forward and sink into a little bit further. That's okay. Just see how you feel and let it all be a practice. We're not doing anything. We're practicing. And just another breath. And then bring your hands all the way down. And take that right knee back into a tabletop. Toes tucked under. Keep your hands where they are. Sit your bum back to your heels so you're in a child's pose with your toes tucked under. Walk your hands forward. Spread through the fingers. And then inhale, come forward. Bring your shoulders forward over your wrists. Elbows start to turn forward, inner elbow creases turn forward, shoulders drop back, lower down, hugging your elbows into your body. Now, keep your hands where they are for this one, point your toes. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, cobra, hugging the elbows in, and then exhale, lower. And let's do that again. Inhale, cobra.
And exhale, lower. And one more time, inhale, cobra. And then exhale, lower. Now tuck the toes, keep the knees down, press back, send your bum back to your heels for that toes tucked child's pose. Sit the bum back, take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, lift your knees and lift your hips, and we're gonna come back into downward facing dog. Spread the fingers, and we'll take a little pedal here once again. Pressing the front of the mat forward, taking the weight back into the legs. Relax the head, ears in line with the upper arms. Another breath. And then slowly we'll start to walk the feet forward to the hands once again. So we come back to the front of your mat into your Uttanasana, soft knees. Fold there. Inhale, rise up halfway, lengthening into a flat back and straight legs. And then fold again, soft knees. And then inhale, rise all the way up, take your arms to the sky. And exhale, arms down by your sides. Okay, so let's take the feet now so that the big toes are touching. And bring your hands to your heart to start. And find your drishti, find where you're gonna rest your gaze. We're gonna take the weight into the left foot, and we're gonna kick the right heel back behind. Then catch a hold of the right foot with the right hand and hug that right heel in towards your body and the right knee in towards the left. Then take your left hand, reach it up to the sky, and then bring your left hand back behind your head, resting your head into your hand, lifting your chest. Really squeezing in with that heel. Take one more breath. Now, relax the right hand. Take both arms up to the sky and step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat. And you're gonna wind up in a lunge. Reach your arms to the sky. Now take the right heel down, so you'll come for your warrior one again. Take a deep breath in, lift your heart. And then as you exhale, bring your hands all the way down to the mat. Pivot to the ball of the back foot and step forward to the front of your mat. Soft knees, fold there. Inhale, rise up halfway, lengthen. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise all the way up, reaching your arms out wide, reverse your swan dive. Take your arms all the way up to the sky. And exhale, arms down by your sides. And bring your feet together, big toes to touch. And we'll do the other side. So palms pressed, hands in the heart, eyes fixed on your drishti, on your focal point. Left heel is going to come back to the bum. Bring your left hand to grab a hold of the foot or the ankle and hug in. Heel into the bum. If you can't get the foot, leggings are also good. Hug in, knees together, heel to the bum. Then take your right arm up to the sky, bring your right hand behind your head. Rest your head back into your hand, open the elbow out wide as you squeeze the heel in towards the bum. Hold and breathe, one more. Now, relax the foot, relax the left arm roll, bring it up to the sky. Step your left foot back to the back of the mat so you come into your lunge. Then take the left heel down to the mat, bend deeply into the right knee. Interlace your hands back behind you, roll your shoulders back, hug in through your upper arms, take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, dive down to the inside of your right knee. Relax your arms down, pivot to the ball of the back foot, and step back into downward facing dog. Relax the head. Let's take a deep breath in, lift up onto the balls of the feet. Spread the fingers, exhale, sink the heels down. Do that again, inhale, lift the heels.
And exhale, sink them down. Bring your knees down. Untuck your toes. Sit your bum back to your heels, child's pose. Arms extending forward, forehead down. And choose here if you want your knees close together or if you want to bring your knees a little bit wider. Sitting the bum all the way back. Deep breaths. And take this opportunity in stillness here to practice that breath originating from the base of your throat. Just practice. And then start to come up, walking your hands back towards your legs. We're going to swing the legs around out in front. Now we're going to cross the right ankle over the left and sit up nice and tall in Sukhasana. If you want to sit up on a cushion here, that can be a nice option here if the hips feel a little bit tight still. And then you can take a few different variations here. You can have your hands back behind you, helping you guide your pelvis a little bit more upright so we're not rocking back. You can stay there. You can bring your hands out in front of you. That feels good. You could walk your hands away from you if that feels good, coming down to the forearms. Or some of you might feel comfortable walking the hands all the way forward and bringing your forehead a little bit closer or even down to your mat. So see where it feels good right now. Not where it's felt good before, not where you always go. Try something different. Practice observing and seeing how things feel now. And sitting your bum back to your heels, try not to take the weight forward into the arms, but pressing back into the legs. Another breath here. And then if you've walked your hands forward, if you've folded here, let's come back. Now, if you're on carpet here, you should be okay. If you're not on carpet under your mat, just make sure that your knees wind up on your mat here. We're gonna come forward into a tabletop from here. So coming forward, bringing your feet back behind you. And then take your left foot to the floor, just to the outside of your left hand. And then we're gonna come up so that we're balancing on the right knee and the left foot. Now turn your left toes out to the left, and we're gonna line up that left knee with, your left heel with your right knee, okay? And your left toes are turning out away from you. Take your left elbow onto your left thigh and take your right arm and reach it all the way up and over. And if you want to sink a little bit into that hip, you can. Otherwise, you can stay right back where you were. Reach up with the right arm, really big long stretch there. And then bring your hands all the way back down into your tabletop and swing that left knee back into your tabletop. Now we're going to come into our cross-legged seat with the left ankle in front, which means cross your right ankle over your left and then sit back into your cross-legged seat. So now you should have your left ankle in front of your right. And we'll do the same thing again. So you might stay here with your hands in close, sitting up nice and tall, or you might bring your hands forward,
Or you might walk forward to forearms or all the way forward. Not expecting anything of ourselves here. We're exploring. Not necessarily always seeking what's possible, but some days just observing what is. Another few breaths. And then start to come forward. Well, you can come back to your hands, but we're going to come forward again, coming back into our tabletop one last time. Bring your right foot to the side of your right hand and then come up. So we're resting on the left knee and the right foot. Turn the right toes all the way out to the right, lining up your right heel with your left knee. Bring your right elbow onto your right thigh. Take your left arm all the way up and over. Again, you can sink into that a little bit, or you can stay back where you are. One more big breath. And then bring your hands all the way back down. We're going to take that knee back behind, and then we're going to swing the legs around in front and come onto your back. Lying all the way down. And beginning, or coming to where we began, with your feet on the mat and your knees bent. And again, if your arms are comfortable overhead, please do that. But otherwise, arms out wide is great, wherever the arms are most comfortable. Bring your feet, once again, as wide as your mat, knees bent. And let's drop the knees all the way over to the right. And sinking the inside of that left thigh down towards the mat. Relaxing the head back, relaxing the face. And again, noticing your reaction here. Is it to resist? Is it to tense? Or are you allowing yourself to drop in here? And bring your knees back to center and then over to the left. Inner edge of that right thigh, dropping down. And then bring your knees back to center. Bring the soles of your feet together, allowing the knees to knock out wide, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Bringing your hands onto your body, rolling your shoulders back into your mat, resting your head back. And closing your eyes, and once again practicing noticing your breath. Breathing in and out as if you were breathing through the base of your throat. Listen to it and experience it. How often do we experience our breath? Probably not that often, because we might have had the inclination to sit and try. But we come with this idea that we're doing, that we can succeed, we can fail. But we have cleared this space of any sense of right or wrong. So you are free to practice breathing and observing and experiencing your breath, because you can't do it wrong. And then if you would be more comfortable extending your legs for your Shavasana, then you're welcome to do that now. If you want to slide your socks on or a blanket, now's the time. You can keep your hands resting on your body. You could take them by your sides. Allow yourself to settle. And there's nothing for you to focus on. There's nothing for you to manage here. You can just be in this space that you've cultivated. You can just be.